encourage growth. Our correspondent Olu Phillips, who is in the U.S., has this report.
Provide the resources.
Barely weeks after the business community in Nigeria gathered at the nation's capital, Abuja, discussing the nation's economy, that momentum appears to have escalated beyond our shores to New York, United States. So while the president addressed the General Assembly, he detailed Mr. Trade and others to this forum to discuss imperatives of investing back home.
Our macro environment is stable, is strong. Exchange rate remains steady. Inflation in single digits at 8.4%. The first time we have come back from double digits to single digit inflation rate. Economic growth has consistently averaged 8% in the last 10 years. And we have one of the lowest debt to GDP ratios in the world. And in terms of returns on investment, Nigeria is ranked as number 4 in the whole world.
Look at Nigeria, a country I visited earlier this year. This is a country that for many years squandered its inheritances of oil riches, but now growing impressively, helped by dynamic reform and strong leadership.
Beyond the big picture canvassed here, Governor Fayemi explains how microeconomic dynamics aggregates to support investment decisions.
As we talk about these macroeconomic stability that the government is striving at the federal level to put in place, we must have a subnational understanding of the dynamics of change.
Close to 2,000 kilometers of gas pipelines across Nigeria. We've started already, like I mentioned, we have laid close to 500 kilometers already, and we have projects ongoing. So in there, the entire value chain for pipes is an investment opportunity, from pipe mills to pipe laying to pipe coating and to all the ancillary services in that area. We're also going to be building gas processing plants, which is critical to our industrialization policy.
In more practical terms, what key areas of the sector can these opportunities be found? Perhaps one question on the mind of these would-be investors in Nigeria. One thing resonates: 3 reasons why you must come to Nigeria to invest, and that's because it is said that we have a competitive advantage in terms of macroeconomic stability, security, which is being upped right now, and of course infrastructural development. These are the win platform that all of those who spoke on behalf of Nigeria is asking the international community to come and invest in the next frontier in terms of economic development, Nigeria and Africa. From New York City, this is Olu Phillips reporting for Channels Television News.
Crude oil prices dip below $109 per barrel. That'll be on business news after the break. We'll also have stories from the foreign scene and sports news. Do join us again.
At first, it's only anticipation that something is about to happen. This is one thing that makes life interesting, to compete not only with players across the field, but across the world. It makes me feel joy when we win and sorrow when we lose. The action and reaction, colliding, falling, dropping, despite the odds. I love it because it brings me tears of victory, tears of joy. The skill that leads to the pass that leads to the shot that leads to the goal that determines the ultimate. Channel Sports, defining the moment of true sports.
Welcome back. Time for business news on News Track. Our first story has to do with the First Bank of Nigeria, which has emerged the overall winner at the second annual Best Companies to Work For in Nigeria Awards 2013. Organizers of the event, Great Place to Work in Nigeria, say the initiative of the ceremony is aimed at creating and sustaining a great workplace to build a better society. Our correspondent Ayotunde Balogun reports.
It's often believed we find fulfillment in what we do or where we work, provided the conditions are favorable. In reference to this, Great Place to Work Institute has decided to show recognition to the best companies in Nigeria at an awards ceremony for the year for fostering a positive working culture and trust in the workplace.
In many organizations, leaders disregard culture as a powerful tool that can create and sustain performance, and only a few leaders give it attention that it deserves.
Guests gathered in large numbers to witness the remarkable event where winners will receive these prestigious awards.
It goes to First Bank of Nigeria.
So it was sheer jubilation for the management of First Bank in Nigeria as it went home with the award for Best Corporation to Work, along with Best Organized HR Structure and Most Engaged Head of HR Awards.
While we are one of the best banks, so in fact I'd say the best bank in Nigeria, we also acknowledge the fact that you can never, win on this without investing in your people.
There were other winners who received awards in various special categories, from Most Improved Workplace Culture to the Most Engaged CEO. Organizers of the event, which is in its second edition, say selections were done after a carefully thought out but rigorous process before the award presentations were made.
The first one is a trust index. The second one is a culture audit. The culture audit assesses what the management has for the workplace in terms of policies, practice, and in short, it just examines the culture from management perspective.
The Great Place to Work Awards 2013 ceremony has indeed come and gone. The recipients have been made known and they've carted home their awards in all the various categories, something the organizers say will definitely show that they mean business in trying to reward all those companies, businesses and organizations, no matter how big or small, that when they do the right things, they definitely will get their rewards. From the Civic Center here in Lagos, I'm Ayotunde Balogun reporting for Channels Television News.
Turn to the foreign scene now. The UN Security Council has discussed a draft resolution in ridding Syria of chemical weapons after the US and Russia agreed the text. A vote in the 15-member council could now take place later on Friday. Diplomats at the UN in New York have said the agreement breaks a 2.5-year deadlock in the UN over Syria. It is seen as a key step in a US-Russia brokered plan earlier this month under which Syria agreed to disclose its arsenal and eliminate it by mid-2014. Russia and China have 3 times blocked Western-backed resolutions in the Security Council against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Sports news now. Ahead of the FIBA Africa Women's Championships quarterfinal between Nigeria's the Tigers and Mozambique's president of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, Thani Umar, says the only way the players can beat their host country is to remain focused. Now the encounter will decide the team who qualifies for Saturday's semi-finals. Despite having very little time to prepare for this championships, Coach Scott Nagy is optimistic that the girls are ready to put in their best in the crucial encounter. The Tigers won 2 matches against Kenya and Cape Verde, but lost their third to favourites Angola, Mali and Cameroon, a result that placed them 4th in Group B. And Nigeria's Squash Federation President Adamu Erena has expressed delight with plans to include the sport in the forthcoming National Youth Games in Abuja by the National Sports Commission. This news is coming as the Federation prepares for the All-Africa Junior Squash Championships in Egypt. The NSC Director General, Gbenga Elegbeleye, gave the hint that the Commission will not only consider the inclusion of squash into the Youth Festival, but also continue to support sports federations that are making impacts in their sports. And that's it on News Track for this hour. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.